Leeds International School, Primary 5, First Midterm, English Literature, Lesson number 1, Not Always a Perfect Place. Not Always a Perfect Place by Judy Wade, reference Essential Fiction and Anthology compiled by Brian Moses, page number 4 to 7. Content, learning outcomes, about the author, characters of the story, the explanation of the story, vocabulary, summary of the story, questions. Learning outcomes, students will be able to identify the characters in the story, describe the characters, summarize the story, increase their vocabulary. Now you can see a picture of the author Judy Wade. Children, now I am going to tell you few details about Judy Wade. Judy Wade was born in Portsmouth, England. Judy Wade is a senior lecturer in creative writing. She is an award-winning author who has published over 40 works of fiction. She runs creative writing workshops and residencies in schools for both pupils and teachers. Now you can see there are few books of her. Look Out the Window, Digging for Dinosaurs, I Wish I Had a Monster, Mouse Look Out, The Storm Seal. There are few books of her. There are 4 characters of this story: Olivia, Beatrix, Mr. Soames, and the boy. Right, children, take out your English literature books and get ready with the lesson. Not Always a Perfect Place by Judy Wade. This is a historical story. There are 4 characters. Now I'm going to give you the simple idea about these characters. The first one, Olivia. She is the main character of the story. Her cousin was Beatrix. When she came to see the funeral procession of Queen Victoria, she recalled her past memory. She was a kind-hearted girl. She wanted to help to the boy, and also she was the storyteller. Then second character, Beatrix. She was the cousin of Olivia. She went to watch the procession with Olivia. She didn't like the boy. And third character, Mr. Soames. He was the overseer of the factory. He annoyed to the children. He wanted to find the boy, so he chased him. Last one, the boy. He was working at a match factory. He was sick and helpless boy, and he wanted to escape from the factory.
Not Always a Perfect Place was written by Judy Wade. Children, now I am going to explain the story. I have been out today standing in the crowd trying to catch a glimpse of Queen Victoria's funeral procession. Everyone said I was mad to go at my grand old age, but she has been a good queen and I wanted to pay my last respects. I couldn't see much at first, there were so many people, but then a smartly dressed elderly gentleman helped me to the front. I turned to thank him, and as his eyes met mine, I saw something wonderful, something I have been waiting over 60 years to see. Let me explain how it all started. Children, this is a historical story. We know that there are 4 characters: Olivia, Beatrix, Mr. Soames, and the boy. Olivia was the main character of the story. She was the storyteller. Through this story, story, she was recalling her past minutes. When she went to pay last respect to the Queen Victoria, she was too old, and there were so many people. At that time, one elderly gentleman helped her to confront. When she looked at him, she could remember her past incident. At that time, she started to recall her past incident. Beatrix was her cousin. They went to watch the coronation procession of Queen Victoria. There were so many people. Everyone tried to watch it well. People were frightened by pushing. Olivia got knocked several times. Beatrix's new silk dress was getting crushed, was damaged. They hurried back to Beatrix's home to watch the procession from her balcony. When they reached her gate, Beatrix pointed at something huddled up in the garden. Olivia was looking concentration at it. It looked like a pile of old rags. It looked like torn pieces of old rags. At first sight, they couldn't recognize it. Finally, they identified that it was a boy. By seeing them, he changed his position. He stepped back, shielding his face with his hand. He wanted to prevent from being seen. He wanted to hide his face. I thought, I ain't done nothing. Don't hit me. I ain't done nothing. I haven't done nothing. At that time, Olivia thought, we are not going to hurt you, I promise. Beatrix didn't like him. She said, come away, Olivia, he's crawling with lice. Lice? Small insects that live on the hair of people or animals. And also she thought, he's probably got cholera too. She disgusted, but Olivia ignored her and stepped nearer the boy. Olivia didn't care about Beatrix, but she went to the boy. Beatrix was right. Really, that boy was very dirty and unpleasant. He smelled disgusting. Olivia saw that there was a deep cross his cheek. It is like an ugly red kiss on the side of his face. Then she asked, what happened? Who hurt you like this? The boy coughed. Old songs, the overseer at the match factory where I work. He got the belt out and whipped me this morning. He was explaining what happened. Beatrix interrupted him, but Beatrix didn't like him. Then she thought he must have had a reason for beating you. The boy turned to look at her and thought, he hit me because I fell me. That's the reason. Because he fell. That's the reason. Old songs doesn't like anyone fainting or getting sick. But the factory fumes get in my throat and in my chest and make me feel dizzy, make me confused and sick. He coughed again and thought, please don't tell anyone about me. Please don't tell anyone about me. I'll never go back to that factory. He didn't want to go to the factory again. I'll find other work. He was explaining explaining, he was addressing, I'll find other work, I'll work hard, and I'll make a better life for myself somehow. He begged. Send him away, Beatrix whispered to me. We know that Beatrix was an unkind girl, but Olivia was kind-hearted girl. So Beatrix thought, send him away, give him a chance to go. After going him, the maid will have to wash the part down once he has gone. Beatrix wanted to send the boy away. At that time, Olivia asked, how old are you? The boy was expressing indifference when she asked about the age. Beatrix insulted him by seeing his weakness, and also she acted like heartless girl. At that time, Olivia asked, does that man beat you often? Then he replied, not much. And also he gave a hello laugh. A laugh that sound was sad than happy. And also he replied, only if we cough, if we sneeze, if we cry, he punished us. Suddenly they heard footsteps and a shadow fell across the path. You wretched boy, you unlucky boy. They recognized that it was Mr. Soames. He looked around wildly for some way to escape. He wanted. Olivia tried to block the path. You have no right to come here. Then he growled, get out of my bed. The boy was begging. He was begging, don't let him get me. Last week he hung a girl upside down from the ceiling because she had run away. She hung there all day. By hearing it, even Beatrix looked shocked. Then she asked, do children sometimes die there? Mr. Soames replied, all the time, miss. They die of coughing. They die of waiting. They die of being caught up in machines. And sometimes they die because they are too tired to stay alive anymore. He did not give any value to the human life. Olivia felt quickly and then said, you should take care over your abundance. Surely, if you looked after them better, they would be stronger and fitter. It would be better for all of you. Mr. Soames gave a short laugh. I have done a lot of worse than he has ever had to do. He replied like that. He explained his childhood. He was working down in the sewers. He was working as a person who is removing wastewater, another waste material inside of the set of drains and pipes. He thought that it was old and dark. The smell in there rots your nostrils away. There were big ruts like big ashes. He saw some marks left on his arm. So he said, the world is not always a perfect place. We all have to live as best we can. There are rich or poor persons, educated or non-educated persons. We have different lifestyles. But world is not always a perfect place. We have to live with what we have. Olivia was very unhappy. She was sad about the boy. because she had nothing to do to help the boy. While they were talking, suddenly he moved smoothly so that the man was shouting again. Slipped away the little eel. Sly as foxes they are, sly, cunning as foxes. If I ever catch him, he will pay for this, believe me. After leaving them, Beatrix and Olivia ran together into Beatrix's house, up the huge staircase and out onto the balcony. They were just in time to see the beautiful coach with the new queen in it pass by. Long live the queen, cried the crowd, Beatrix and Olivia. Although Olivia shouted and waved like others, she was thinking about the thin, ragged, dirty, unpleasant little boy. It was marvelous procession, but she cannot remember beautiful coach and horses as she can remember that helpless, dirty, unpleasant, unlucky boy only. At that time, she stopped her recalling about the past memory. She could remember her past sad incident by seeing that man. The elderly gentleman who helped her looked like that ragged little boy, as there was a big scar shaped like a kiss across his left cheek.
Children, let's see the meanings of the difficult words. Glimpse, a momentary or partial view. Coronation, a ceremony at which a person is made king or queen. Procession, a number of people or vehicles moving forward in an orderly fashion, especially as part of a ceremony. Jostling, push, elbow, or bump against someone roughly, typically in a crowd. Abide, accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. Grumble, complain about something in a bad tempered way. Filthy, disgusting, dirty. Overseer, a person who supervises others, especially workers. Dreadful, causing or involving great suffering, fear, or unhappiness, extremely bad or serious. Summary of the story. Olivia was an old lady. She came to pay her last respect to the Queen Victoria. There were many people around her. One elderly man helped her to go front. By seeing him, she recalled her past memory like this. Beatrix was her cousin. They wanted to see the coronation procession of Queen Victoria. There were crowds that day too. They decided to go Beatrix's home to visit the procession from her balcony. When they came to home, there was a poor sick boy. He was afraid of them. He was working at a match factory. He escaped from there as the overseer had punished him. Olivia was sad about that, but she had nothing to do for him. Suddenly, the overseer came to their garden. Olivia tried to block him. She asked, why did he treat like this for a child? He explained, his past to Olivia and Beatrix and mention the world is always not a perfect place. We all have to live as best we can. The boy had gone at that moment. The man was shouting and growling. He chased the boy. Olivia and Beatrix watched the coronation procession, but Olivia was thinking about that helpless boy. Right, children, now I'm going to ask few questions. Question number one: who is the writer of this story? Who is the writer of this story? Who are the characters related to this story? Who are the characters related to this story? Who is Olivia's cousin? Who is Olivia's cousin? Where did the boy work at? Where did the boy work at? What did Olivia and Beatrix try to watch? What did Olivia and Beatrix try to watch? What was the name of the man? What was the name of the man? What did he tell to Olivia and Beatrix? What did he tell to Olivia and Beatrix? Who can't count numbers? Who can't count numbers? What was the reason that Olivia cannot remember the beauty of the procession? What was the reason that Olivia cannot remember the beauty of the procession? The last one, write 5 sentences about each characters. Write 5 sentences about each characters. Thank you, children. Stay safe.